welcome to another episode of the Free Ride Podcast. And today I've got an exciting guest. He's a DJ, he's a businessman, he does a whole lot of things. He calls himself the Kasi Gupta. When I heard it, bro, I was like finished to the ground because what an interesting way of branding yourself. And he's a DJ. DJ Diata, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm good, thanks. And how are you, Sifo?
Good,
Thanks
man.
for having me, man.
Did I pronounce your DJ name properly?
So, it's actually DJ Electro D.
DJ Electro D.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the D stands for Diata. That's my name.
Oh, okay. So, DJ Electro D.
Yeah.
All right. How did you come up with that, bro?
So, electro comes from electrophobe, which is an energy molecule. So, I started DJing when I was in, I think, grade 9 or grade 10, somewhere there.
Yeah.
And at the time, science, you learn about atoms, molecules and stuff. And I was like, okay, electrophobe, electro, cool, and then D, my name. So, it means I'm always full of energy.
Yeah.
I'm always busy, up and about. So, yeah.
I would have thought maybe it's because you played like electronic music.
That's what a lot of people think.
Oh, is it?
But I did an interview once with DJ Fresh, and he said, "Does your father work for ESCOM?" So I was like, "Hey, electricity, electro." I was like, "Yeah, man." So some funny stuff.
Oh my God! Okay, I didn't expect that. Like, no, it doesn't work for. Because when you think of ESCOM now, you're like, no, it doesn't work for that damn company.
You should never be affiliated with them. Yeah, indeed.
How dare you even think of it like that? All right. There's a bird that just came on top of the car, man.
Came to visit us.
So, my brother,
Yes.
before we start talking about what you do and all of that, let's talk about you, brother. Where were you born and raised?
So I'm born and raised in Lenasia South.
Okay.
Schooled there. My whole life is there. I'm still there.
Yeah.
Haven't yet left. And yeah.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in Lenasia?
It was good. It was good. It was interesting times. We grew up in a quite a mixed community. And as time is going now, the community is evolving and that type of thing. I went to a public school as well, and things were it was nice. Unfortunately now it's going down because of land grabs, crime, all of that thing, so it's not as safe as it used to be. But when I schooled from there until 2015, it was I could still walk the streets, go out and play and that type of thing, so it was nice. It was a nice community, and cost of living there is also cheap, so you've got a nice place to live in, and not expensive stuff. It works
and a lot
out.
of options also.
Yes, plenty of options. There's a variety because of the surrounding, the options, as you said, like food options, groceries, that type of thing is all nice. And also like in my space, in the music space, there's different types of music for different people, so it's a well balanced community, I would say.
So where did you go to primary school?
In Parkside Primary School.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always want to ask people, like, what was like school like? Because that's where you get to hear that people have gone through a lot or an interesting background. So what was school like for you? Did you enjoy school, bruh?
I did. I actually enjoyed high school, interestingly, more than primary school. I think I was a bad boy in primary school. When I got to high school, I was actually really good.
Oh, is it?
What
did you do? Did you
So I remember one time I didn't do these tasks. It was social sciences in grade 7.
Yeah.
And then it was nearing the end of term, and I was all panicking and stuff. So I basically did the tasks one weekend and marked it and signed it as well.
What?
Gave myself. That's what I did. And then there was grade 7 farewell. Before that, I hope none of my teachers hear this now, because they're going to know that they were right. But anyway,
did they suspect?
They did suspect. Grade 7 farewell. So there was a teacher, the technology teacher. He had a demerit book.
Yeah.
And sometimes, class captain would give us demerits for stupid things like talking. So they told us that you won't go to your farewell if you have demerits. And then a group of us got together and we made the book disappear. So there was no trace of any demerits when it came time for...
Oh, there was no trace.
No trace, no paper trail, nothing. It was just gone, And I almost got expelled, mind you, for signing my own book. I almost got expelled.
Yes, see, bro.
I almost got away with it also if it wasn't for a guy next to me. But anyway.
He was like, nah, bro.
Yeah, he's like, no. This
It's
doesn't
not
look right, you know.
Yeah, his consciousness came in.
Yeah.
And then high school, where did you go to high school?
I went to, grade 8, I did it at MH Joseph, that's in Lenasia.
Okay.
And then I moved to Lenasia South Secondary in grade 9 because of traveling. The traveling was quite far and that type of thing, yeah. High school was nice. It was fun.
What was so nice about it?
I think I got involved in a lot of activities. So
Yeah.
there was the RCL, which is like the student council type of thing. So I did a lot of that. I contested a lot of debating competitions, unprepared speech, reading, that type of thing. And when I got to grade 10, I contested, and in grade 11 I won the unprepared speech and reading in Johannesburg.
What?
And then grade 12 I also won it again. So I was like, if I just had one more year, maybe I could just get that hat trick. But yeah, it was fun. Like high school was nice. Obviously it had its challenges, you know, in terms of high school being high school, bullies, that type of thing. But overall it was nice. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Do you think like school is a make it or break it for an individual, or do you think school, you know, because some people have been questioning the education system lately to say, I don't know why I spent 12 years of my life there, and then there are other people that say education saved my life.
So for me, I look at it like this, right? The purpose of going to school and for you to build that fundamentals is for you to basically get a base in your life. It's like one of my teachers said, in life, there's only 3 certificates that actually matter. It's your birth certificate, your matric certificate, and your death certificate.
Yeah.
That's the only 3 that actually make a difference for you. You know, that gives you something. So in terms of school, you know, I feel like it's important for you to, one, get into that structure. You know, you wake up early, you go to school, you come back, you need to do homework. So you start learning morals, values, how to do things and that type of thing. So I personally feel like it gives you a good base fundamental for your life going forward.
Yeah.
You know, you learn how to write, how to become intellectual, how to handle conversations, how to speak to people.
Yeah.
You know, but the way the world is going now with social media and that type of thing, it's actually killing us. You know, because I say, like, if you go to a family function, for instance, a bunch of young people my age, everybody's sitting on their phones.
Yeah.
You know, so what that creates now is later on in life when you start going for physical interviews and you have a casual conversation like this, you can't converse.
True.
You know, so that's why that school thing is fundamental for you to actually learn how to interact with people, you know, and that type of thing. So yeah, that's my take on it.
And also you notice that a lot of young people write in a SMS or WhatsApp text. They're using emojis.
Yes.
So there's no real practice of writing. So when they become adults, they can't really they can't write.
Yes.
So, and okay, no, I hear you. And then, so when you finished matric?
So I finished matric. I then tried to study. So I wanted to study teaching. Unfortunately at the time, so funds weren't available. So I started doing business when I was in grade 9.
Oh yeah?
So that was when I started doing business. And then when I finished matric, I had some funds and I said, okay, let me go study at Gauteng City College. And I studied there for 3 months. And then I realized, okay, listen, the sound business is not good. You know, people aren't getting married. There's no birthdays. There's no Christmas celebrations. It's bad.
Yeah.
You know, so let me find a job. And then I found a job as an intern, an IT intern.
Oh, wait, your first business was what? Sound?
No, so that was IT and sound. So I taught myself computers. So what happened was...
What?
In grade 9, that December, I went out shop to shop looking for a job in Lands in the CBD. I found a job. It was a furniture store, so I would build furniture and stuff and all of that.
Yeah.
And then I left that. I went to work in a restaurant, and then I got paid 950 rand. And then I bought a laptop.
Yeah.
And I told myself, okay, I want to learn computers now.
Yeah.
So, you know, how am I going to go about this? So my mom was excited. I bought a laptop. I phoned her. Then she got home and found the laptop in pieces. I took it apart. I said, right, now my task is to learn how to put this back together, because that's how I want to learn about this computer thing.
Yeah.
Once I did that, I then got into software, installing Windows, that type of thing. So by the time I got to grade 10, I was now offering a basic desktop support service to people.
Ah,
So people could now call me and say, no, my computer's broken. Okay, bring it by the house. I then check it out. Okay, this is the problem. I fix it. And then Google is your best friend.
yeah.
Google, YouTube, you can learn anything.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing you can't learn there.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned. So I started with that. And then there was DJing. So when I was doing DJing, I wasn't hiring out sound. But then towards grade 11, I had saved up enough and then I bought sound. And now on the weekend, I started to play for people's weddings, birthday parties, that type of thing. And yeah, so that's the business.
Entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
So how would you describe like entrepreneurship in South Africa, like at the current moment? Is it, because this has been a discussion I've had with one or two people around school job or school entrepreneurship. What would you reckon? What would you say?
I would say, it depends where you're at in your life.
Okay.
I encourage people to go into entrepreneurship. I also encourage people to go into the corporate space. So it's like they say, different strokes for different folks, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of entrepreneurship, one, you need to be a self-starter. You need to be thinking of things. How do I do this? How do I do that? You need to identify something that you love. So a lot of people come out of school and decide to take a gap year before going into either working, studying, whatever it is. So I usually tell peers, you come out of school, that gap year, spend time thinking about what you like, and then try and maybe start a business or work in the industry that you're passionate about. Because whether it's business, whether it's a corporate job, if you're passionate about what you're doing, you'll be successful. The moment you just do a job for saying, I have a job, that's when you start now, your life starts to spiral because it's like, why am I doing this? That's when you get things like depression. You don't want to wake up for work. But if you, let's say, like you're doing podcasting, you wake up, I like talking to people. Okay, start walking in the street and interviewing random people, post clips. Social media is becoming a massive platform. There's TikTok. TikTok is blowing up. Artists, podcasters, you name it. Dancers, it's blowing it up.
Yeah.
So that's what I tell people, be a self-starter and decide what you want. If you feel like, you want to work for someone, that's still fine. In the corporate or in any business that you do or whatever you do, as long as you're going to learn, you're going to grow, you're going to be happy, you're going to be at peace. Go for it. So pick whichever one.
But at least think about it.
Yeah, think about it. Have a plan. It's like I say, when you're in school, you need to already be planning. It's like when people say pick your subjects. I'll never forget my teachers. I hated them for this. They told me you're doing a loafers course because I was doing maths, literacy, geography, life orientation, and tourism.
Yeah.
And they said, I'm doing a loafers course. And I said, okay, but I actually don't need it. You want me to go do physics, I'm going to stress biomaths, but I'm not going to need it. So right there and then I already had thought about what is it I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
Where do I see myself in 5 years, 10 years? I always tell people, start with a 2-year, 5-year, 10-year plan for your life.
Yeah.
Don't sit back and wait and say, no, a job will come to me, I'll just spend time applying online or that type of thing. There's things out there. There's information that's available.
Now more than ever.
Exactly. Now more than ever.
Yeah.
Listen to what's happening in the communities. I had a debate on Facebook the other day because I said that, if you're 21, unemployed and doing nothing, you have no one else but yourself to blame.
Yeah.
People said, yes, but what about information and that type of thing, accessibility? And I said, this thing is simple. When you want to go out to do something, if you want a party, go to the zoo, go, have a picnic, whatever it is, you can find that information.
Yeah.
So equally so, you can find information.
About anything.
Same thing like in communities. If you go out and say, okay, you're going to have a community meeting about skills development, get there, how many young people do you find attending it? Small numbers.
True.
People are not interested in this. So as people, nobody's coming to save you. If you're sitting at home and you're doing nothing, think about your life. What do you want to do? Where do you see yourself? And start somewhere. There's government programs, there's things out there, there's people that will help you, just to get out there and to do stuff.
Absolutely correct. All right, so you then went on to study for like 3 months, you said?
Yeah.
And then
Then left.
Yeah.
And started working.
where did you? What was your first job?
Intern. So I was it was called a technical resolver intern in a
Okay.
company called GSOC. So I basically went out and removed viruses from computers,
Oh,
which I was very good at because I had already been doing it for people
yeah,
prior. So right there and then I was already happy because I had found something that I loved.
yeah.
You
Something
know,
you were doing.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that was the first job, and then within the same company. So I've been at that company. I'm still there until now.
Yeah.
I've just progressed from there and yeah, moved into different ranks, learned different technologies. So it's been an incredible learning journey, and
Yeah.
it's going in that direction where every day I learn something new.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you do now?
So now I'm an ops manager, so I manage an operations team at a company called Mitigate.
Yeah.
We do SOC services, so we basically do monitoring, so log collection, checking your environment for viruses, making sure that you're safe on a digital space. So
Are we
that's what
safe, bro?
Huh?
Are we safe though?
No, you're not safe.
What? Wait, man. What?
You're not safe.
Is it that bad?
It's bad. It's bad.
Yes.
The safest place to be if you want to be safe is lock yourself in your house, which
Yeah.
you're still not safe because someone can break in.
For sure.
Get off the internet. So if you've never been on the internet, chances of your digital safety might be there,
Yeah.
But once you join social media, once you join those platforms, you're unsafe. There's real problems out there, like identity theft. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Fraud, catfishing, people using your name, your pictures, doing things with it. And then there's the finer things like your phone being hacked, your Facebook being hacked, your banking app being hacked. And on a corporate level, it's a whole bigger thing because it's literally
That's where the most money
someone
is.
comes in and there's this thing called ransomware. So someone can come get onto your network. Someone emails you an attachment, so it looks legitimate. You can do these things easily. You send a legitimate email and someone double clicks that, and suddenly all your files are locked. And they say, now you need to pay Bitcoin to some Russian dude or Chinese dude, whatever it is.
What? That
so,
thing is real.
Yeah, so that's why I say you're never safe.
Yes. So the more the internet opened up opportunities, it opened up a lot of risks. Too.
Correct. So it's basically simplicity will get you will. So if you like your life to be simple, you use the same password everywhere, you do things like that, chances of you being compromised is very high.
Okay.
But once you have complexity, you have some security. So complexity equals to security, right?
Oh.
But then your life isn't simple. So for example, if you have a house, you've got your front wall, your gate. Behind that, you've got dogs. Then you've got access control. Then you've got an alarm system.
Yeah.
So for you to come in to your own home takes you 5 to 10 minutes, right? But if you had none of that and you just had a gate and a key,
Yeah.
it's 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But what's the risk, right?
Yeah.
When you're sleeping, someone can just have a key and also come in to visit you. So that's how these things work. So it's like that, man.
And you're not safe anywhere digitally. It's like
I don't believe, my personal views, you're not safe. You need to think before you click. Think about what you post online. I'll give you a simple example. People out there love posting when they go on a holiday.
Oh yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Why? Because you've just told people you're not at home.
Yeah. And they're like, woo,
right?
Let's go to the
and then
house.
it's the same thing like if you look at security questions and you create a Gmail account,
Yeah.
what is my pet's name?
Oh.
Don't post your dog online, because you show people what your email address is. Your security question is that someone compromises you.
Yeah.
They say, okay, security question, what is your pet's name? And yesterday on Facebook you posted me and my dog Sandra or whatever it
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
and then you've given them the answer. So simple things like that make a big difference.
Yes. So is it hackers who are whose role it is to just mess up people's lives? Like, because I've watched a few movies
Yes.
with just the minds of the hackers. Like, it's like a test for them. Some of them, it's like they were troubled kids who used to break the law and then they got into computers and then they just continued with it. How would you describe it?
So in terms of hacking, right, there's different types of hacking. So there's people that hack on behalf of the government,
Okay.
right? Then there's they call themselves hacktivists, so they hack for some sort of political reason, so for instance, if it's let's say terrorism, they may hack for that reason to spread that word. And then there's just genuine criminal elements
Okay.
who want to compromise companies, steal your data, hold it to ransom. So there was a TransUnion hack,
Oh,
right?
yes.
That's public knowledge in the past 6 months, where basically they were compromised and they were told to pay so much money or else we start leaking your data. And the risk is you can't pay that because how do you know it's not leaked already, right?
Yeah.
There's this thing called the dark web.
Yeah.
It's a very bad place. Don't go there. Whoever's listening, don't go there.
What?
You can buy anything. You can buy organs. You can buy credit cards.
I've heard about that.
You can't just get on there. But if you get on there, yeah, it's a whole new world. It's like if you look at an iceberg, if 1% is above the water, above the surface, 99% is the dark web.
What?
In terms of what we see. It's rough. It's bad out there.
So it's real, the dark web.
It's a real thing.
How do you get in? Is there like a website or like?
So you have to connect using a certain, they call it a VPN, and then you go to certain sites. Some of them are called .onion sites, and on there you'll just start finding information. You join forums. You can also get invited to forums where people talk about hacks, things that may take place, things that have taken place. You have people selling information and that type of thing.
So the internet as we see it, it's only the 1%. The 99% is the dark web.
That's what I would say. I would equate it to, yes.
That's crazy.
That's my personal equation of it, yeah.
And there are people who participate heavily on the dark web.
Correct.
It's crazy, bro.
Starting from kids. 6, 7 years old, up until, as old as you can get. There's people who are really skilled out there. There's people who spend their time learning computers. They learn how to do these things. There are people who want to be on the offensive side. They want to hack into stuff. For what reason? Can be anything. But there's people who live, their daily jobs is to do this. They wake up in the morning and say, right, I'm going to try and get data from this company, and if they don't give me 200 million, I'm going to sell it. So,
and now with the rise of Bitcoin and other digital, so people can just so they'll want the ransom that you pay them in Bitcoin, which cannot be traced.
Correct. It's untraceable.
Yes, and it's real, bro.
It's yeah.
So tips for anyone who's using social media at the moment, what would you say? Like, I know you've spoken roughly about don't post your pet's name.
So I mean, you can post those things, right? But you need to be careful when using social media. So the first thing is make sure you secure your account. Okay. So use something called two-factor authentication. Almost every platform has it, and that's basically when you log in.
Two-factor
authentication. That's what it's called. So basically, what happens is when you sign into, let's say, Facebook, you'll sign in using your email address and password, and thereafter it will still send you a code, and that can be via SMS, via email, or that type of thing. Okay. So that's the two-factor. So the first factor was your email and password. The next one is this code. Okay. So secure all your accounts using that. That simply prevents people from easily gaining access because there's a second form, so they have to be able to compromise both to get in, which isn't very easy. So that's the first thing. The next thing on social media is try your best to not post your address. Don't post your number plates. Basic things like that, because that's when you become a target. Especially for criminals out there, depending on which space you operate in, someone is watching you. Okay. I always take it as someone's always looking at you. Just know that someone is looking at you and they might not have the best intentions for you. So for instance, if you post which area you're from, you post your cars. I personally have never posted cars. I will never post a car, simply because it's easy to follow you now, right? So
Yeah.
they know you're in Randburg. They know this is what your car looks like. So they just need to chill and wait for the right moment,
Yeah.
to find you doing that type of thing. So I would say, basic things like that. Don't post too much of information. Don't say I'm on holiday from this date to this date.
Yeah.
If you're on holiday, it's fine.
Yeah.
If you're in Durban today, don't post it today. Post it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow you might not be there.
And people like to check in.
Exactly. So now you check in, right?
Yeah.
So you check into somewhere. You're literally telling people, if you want to find me, this is where I am. Come and find me.
Just.
So it's basic things like that to not do.
Yeah. Do you think social media has changed people's lives?
Yes, in both good and bad ways.
Okay, let's talk about the good first.
So a good way, in the good way that it's easy access to information.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got different platforms that give us different things that's happening. We can communicate freely, easily.
Yeah.
Low cost. That's a big thing for everyone in the world. So, those are some of the good things. People also use it for business. You have influencers, people that aspire to be influencers, podcasting, falls part of social media. So it's become this online network and this free flow of information.
Yeah.
It's like they say, information is power.
Sure.
So that's the good things that I would say it's done.
Yeah. And the bad?
So the bad is it's making people slowly lose the physical touch, social skills, actual face-to-face social skills.
Yeah.
That's the first bad thing. The next thing is all the security things we discussed.
Yeah.
The next thing is addiction. Social media is also an addiction.
Oh yes. I heard there's a dopamine that you get from social media.
Yeah.
Which is similar to taking cocaine or smoking cigarettes.
It's also an addiction. So if you use it, you need to be careful.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember the first days when I started using TikTok. Man, I would literally sit until 3 a.m. watching these stupid videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, eventually I was like, why am I doing this? I should be sleeping. Why am I up till 3 o'clock watching? But you see, that shows how easily it grabbed me.
Yeah.
No, it may not grab everyone, but once you get into it, you'll be like, okay, if I want this thing, it's here.
Yeah.
So everything now starts happening on your phone.
Yeah.
You then stop talking to people around you. You don't go and ask your dad, hey, Dad, where can I find it? No, you're not going to do that. You just search for it online.
Yeah. How do you know that you're addicted to social media?
I don't know, eh?
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Someone said when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you look at is your phone. Then you know you're addicted.
But what if I'm checking the time?
Or when you hear a message, like message comes.
Yes.
You check. Or when you can't leave the house without your phone, like you're so attached to your phone.
I think those are signs of. I would say those are signs of addiction, because you're basically saying your life depends on this thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then also when you go to, because remember when phones didn't have all of the above, like, because someone can say, no, but my phone, and then you're like, but I only use my WhatsApp. WhatsApp is also a form of social media.
Yes.
Facebook, and all the other ones that you mentioned. And then they say if you go into a toilet and you take your phone with you. So all right, so let's move away from social media, because I think you broke it down so well for us. You also, let's talk about your love for music, bro. So how did that you did say that it started at school when you were DJing, but when did you know that you were in love with music and that DJing was your thing?
So how I got into it was how I got into DJing. So let me start there. I used to listen to DJ Kent on the Ultimix.
Oh yes, DJ Kent.
And I used to listen to the way he fused songs, and I was like, how does this man do this? This sounds super cool.
Yeah.
I want to know how to do this, right? So I started doing that. And then I started using virtual DJ, staying at home, releasing mixes. In my first year, one mix played on 5FM. So it was like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
But when I realized that the adrenaline from this thing is amazing, is when I won a competition, Wonderland. It's called Wonderland. I can't recall if it was 2015 or 2016.
Yeah.
But basically, I won the competition to be an opening act, and you get there and it's 7,000 people.
What?
And you realize that you are the reason that these people are happy. They're jumping up and down because you're standing behind the decks and you're playing the right music.
Yes.
So at that point, that adrenaline is what has kept me until today, because it's the joy of standing in front of a crowd, playing the right thing, connecting with them, seeing how happy they are. People are dancing, they're screaming. It's really good. It's nice.
Yeah. So, I always admire DJs for what you do, because I always feel like you guys are like pastors, because people are like possessed in there, bro.
Yeah.
People pull their faces in their mouth. Ordinarily, they don't pull their faces like that, but when a DJ plays a good song, people just like, they change, and it's as if they are possessed. But now, I've also seen DJs that have no connection with the crowd. It's like, you can see the DJ is playing for themselves. They are jiving, but the rest of the crowd is like sitting.
So that's a problem, right? So in that case, you should just stay at home, start a podcast or live stream, and do that.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, when you go out there, so it's like, if people pay to come into a venue, right? They're paying to get there to dance and have a good time.
Yeah.
If you as a DJ can see nobody's dancing, nobody's vibing to you, change your music, guys. Like, I see this all the time. I look at DJs and I'm like, you could just play this one thing, and you literally change the mood from this to this. Same thing like we say our national anthem is Sister Bettina, right?
Yeah.
No matter which crowd you're in, no matter where you are, if you're having a bad set, play Sister Bettina. Regardless of racial group, regardless of people, you will just see people going crazy and saying, "Oh my God!" Yeah. So things like that, understanding things like that, is important as a DJ.
Yeah. So it's having anthems on your backside if this does not work.
Correct.
And also, I always find it interesting if you have 3 or 4 DJs that played before you, and then they've all played, especially with like piano. It's like, they've all played, and by the time you play,
you don't know what to play now.
You don't know what to play because they've already exhausted all the hits.
Yeah.
How do you then decide what do you do? Or do you again just read the crowd?
So for me, right, I try my best to not repeat songs. So I always say that as a DJ, you should have sort of 4 sets prepared, 4 fire sets of different types of piano. So within piano, right, so there's your commercial, which goes to radio, that type of thing. Then there's the private school, which is more your instrumental.
What?
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called private school. It's more your instrumental pianos. Then there's this new one called skicha.
Yeah.
Right, which is more of your Bacardi type of piano. It's more of that hard hitting bass lines and drums. So have a set that comprises of that, but that that people will enjoy listening to.
Yeah.
Also, listen to music. As a DJ, listen to music every day. New music, piano gets released like crazy. I mean, these guys in a week can release more than 100 songs. So you just go to YouTube. You find producers left, right, and center just releasing music. So you can't be repeating songs when you have good sounds. That's my take on it.
It's interesting you say that, because with piano, unlike what music used to be like when they get released, you find that, especially if you look at hip hop, kwaito, I mean, it was a build up to releasing a song.
Correct.
Now, these artists are just dropping.
Correct.
So the song doesn't last long on the charts.
Yes. So that's the thing with piano, right? So it doesn't last, and I guess that's why people say that the genre will eventually die. So there's the opinion that the genre will eventually die because of the frequency at which it's released. It doesn't have a lifespan. But within piano, there'll always be an anthem. There are anthem songs. That have been released out there, that will always move a crowd. It's the same thing like Sister Bettina. It's not something you'll rarely find a DJ playing a full kwaito set now. But you might find him playing the anthem song. for that reason. So, but piano is a fast moving industry. It's crazy, and if you're a producer, like so I released a song, my first song, about a month back. And well, I just released it because I felt like, okay, let's release it and see what the numbers are. It was pretty good. Feedback, I got about 7K views. It went to Metro FM. It played there, so it's on TikTok, it's everywhere. But afterwards, it sort of died down now, simply, and I understand why. Because of the fast moving pace of the industry.
Is it difficult for, like, especially as we say it, that you release a song, it gets a hit, you get the excitement, you're like, it's gonna blow up, oh my god, I'm at Metro, and then the next thing it dies out. How does it make you feel? Like, because I know emotionally for some artists, they get some withdrawal symptoms of like, oh, I almost made it, oh, I did make it, I was here, there, and I'm not getting booked, I'm not getting gigs, I'm not, like, how did it make you feel?
So for me, I mean, I didn't even expect it to go to Metro, right? Because I didn't submit it. So I was contacted because there's a urban Metro. So Skido does a new talent thing. So I was contacted for that. But it's like I say that, as a producer or anybody, have music that's ready to release. So should you get that one, that hit that takes you out there, the key is now being consistent. Because if you're not consistent, you will die off. Especially because of the industry. So you'll get out there, you'll start getting a lot of bookings, and then next minute, where did this guy go to now? So if you're at least releasing music regularly and that type of thing, people will start following you. If you have your own type of sound, people will start understanding your sound. And that's how you maintain the positivity. But don't just make a song and then release it and say, okay, cool, it's blown up. And now sit there and be like, okay, I'm going to ride the wave of the song for a while before I release the next one. Because that's when you get hit with depression. It's like, okay, last month I got booked 100 times and now I've only got booked twice. So
it's interesting because if you look at artists like Brasi Pot, Sticks Mabuse, he still performs Burnout.
Yes.
All the other stuff, maybe he'll try and introduce one or two songs, if that, but he still sticks. If you look at some of the old OGs, they still perform using their old songs, and the new stuff, it just takes it very long to like hit the market and stay there. Do you think piano has changed the lives of young people?
Yes, definitely.
How so?
So if you look at a lot of producers out there, so to name a few, let's look at Kabza. Kabza is small. Everybody knows Kabza, right? So look at where he was 5 years ago to now in terms of musically. So 5 years ago he was releasing music from I think a shack or a back room, and today he's a millionaire. This genre that he loved, he invested time in his craft, and look at him now. He's being booked throughout the world. He's going on tours. They just had a concert last week, sold out, massive type of thing. So music is giving the platform for people, and piano in particular. Guys are getting out there. They're making songs that the masses want. The youth wants piano. It's a given. If you create a sing along that people can relate with, there's some stupid lyrics out there. I'll be honest, but the youth wants this, so give it to them.
Because it started off like that, with stupid lyrics that made no sense, more sexual.
Correct.
When you listen to it, you're like, what the hell is happening with the young people?
Correct.
But it started evolving slightly with more messaging, more sing-along.
Yes.
And it became more commercialized.
Correct.
So, I mean, there's a whole lot of artists in a genre that have just blown up.
Yeah.
Yes, bro. So what happened to other genres like hip-hop and kwaito?
So I personally feel like these artists are not investing into their craft, right? So if you look at the piano guys, so again, I'll use Kabza and Mapuriza, right? From what I've seen, those guys spend a minimum of 48 hours a week in studio, in terms of studio time. So that's 2 full days. You know, I've seen videos of Kabza going on tour, and in the hotel he's got monitors there, keyboard, and he's making music. So he's investing the time into that.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at the hip hop guys, they make a song, you know, and then they just relax about it. They want to ride the wave of an album, and eventually it dies. You know, it's the same thing like in terms of messages. So, like you mentioned, burnout, right? Look at the message or the lyrics of the song, right? Look at Lionel Richie's songs. Look at those guys. Those songs never die because they spread a good message. You know, they spoke about journeys that people can relate to.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling happy, I'll pick one of the old school songs and I'll listen to it. I'll jam to it.
Yeah.
You know, so with hip hop, especially in South Africa, you look at how much of effort are the artists actually putting into their craft. You know, how much of putting themselves out there. It's like if you have a new album, right, and you're now in an industry where piano is basically holding, right? So piano is basically holding the music industry in South Africa. It's probably the biggest genre right now.
Sure.
So you look at a hip hop artist, you know, let's take Casper for example. Okay, he's a businessman. Let's take Aries. Let's take Aries, right? So you want to release music now, right, in a piano-dominated industry, and then still charge 30, 40, 50,000 rand for a booking, right? Why would a club pay you that money when they can call a piano head in a country where piano is dominating, pay him half, and he'll still rock the crowd, you know? So hip-hop guys need to rethink the business side of things as well.
Yeah.
You know, drop your rates, start going out there, host concerts. Another thing that I feel personally, and unfortunately, you know, Ricky Rick is now dead. Sad thing. But if you look at Cotton Fest, he created that platform to bring everyone together.
Yeah.
Other than Cotton Fest, I can't think of a massive hip-hop event in South Africa or events where I can say, okay, I've seen different guys from different labels working together. There's too much of beef. There's that anger thing. Whereas you look at the piano industry, the guys are always together. They're having fun. They're getting drunk. They're partying it up. They're making music. There's love, as you said.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's one of the things that's killing every other genre is the unity.
Yeah.
You know, amongst the piano guys. Amongst them versus the unity amongst the piano guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you also find some hip hop guys who actually jumped from hip hop and they quickly went on to piano.
Yeah.
Like Major League DJs, like what's his name? Reason. He now calls himself. I forgot the name he calls himself now. And they moved from the beef side of hip hop to the love side of like piano. And also, I mean, I watched one of the episodes. He was talking about the exact same thing. To say, in piano, everybody just embraces each other. Kabza would be like, "Hey, Ndwana, here's a song, jump on it," you know. Whereas with hip hop, when you've got a song, you're like, I'm not gonna give it to this guy.
You know, he's gonna be bigger than me or whatever. Whereas in the piano, I mean, you look at piano songs, they can be 10 names on a song. 10 guys have collaborated, and you're like, what? How are these guys even getting paid? You know?
Yeah. I wonder how they split the cost. Well, split the money.
You know, for me, it's basically, I tell guys that, especially in the piano industry, right? So royalties are there, they give you money, but they don't give you much money.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like 30 cents, 40 cents a song that people, you know, streams and that type of thing. Where the money comes in is with the bookings.
Yeah.
You know, because you look at booking rates now for these piano guys, it's mad expensive.
Yeah.
But they spend the money amongst them. It's the same thing like when they work together, right? So it's almost like a Stockville in terms of the piano industry, right? So basically what happens is, if Kabza's hosting an event, Jazik, Maporiza, Demtura, everyone will come and play at his event. You won't pay them their normal fee, maybe give them booze, 5 grand for petrol, whatever, send a bus to fetch them, right? He makes his money at his event. When the next one does it, the same thing. So the love flows amongst that circle. That's why you can find that events will happen throughout a week. And the same lineups are everywhere, you know, and you ask yourself, how is this? It's because it's different guys that are basically hosting.
Yeah.
But they're sharing the wealth amongst them. They're sharing the love amongst them. And they're making good music. Whereas with hip-hop, you know, as I said, you know, where will you find an event with Casper and AKA?
Yeah.
You know, where would you hear the two of them? All right, we're going to collaborate, and this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the hatred is too much, and that's what's killing the industry.
Absolutely. And if you think of how hip hop actually was sold to us early in the 90s, it was some guys jumped onto hip hop when the likes of Biggie and Tupac,
Yes.
the West versus East Coast, you know, when that was like huge. So
Yes.
already that beef sort of, we imported it too. So it just carried out and it sort of destroyed our young cats as early as you know, the likes of Squatter Camp. If you think of how great music they created,
Yes.
but they also had beef between Squatter Camp and Hidden Falls and all these other guys. So yeah, it's interesting how piano just changed the culture completely.
Exactly. And you see, the beauty about piano is it's its own identity. So
Yeah.
it wasn't copied from elsewhere.
Sure.
So since it wasn't copied from elsewhere, there's no culture to copy as well.
Yeah.
Whereas with hip hop, it's okay. So the hip hop guys dress like this. This is the way their words flow and that type of thing. So we need to adopt that. With that adoption came the adoption of hate,
Yeah.
beef.
Yeah.
You know, like you just mentioned. So whereas piano is created by us, it's ours, South
Yeah.
Africa's.
Yeah.
You know, we made it. We created the culture. That's it.
It's true. Just one last example I picked up. I was watching this Nasty C interview. So Nasty C is a Zulu guy
Yes.
from KZN. And he says, you know, I went to a former Model C school from primary. And because now I speak in an accent that I do, I was then ostracized by my own community,
Yes.
saying, who is this young boy rapping in English, in hip hop? He's never going to make it. And then they started comparing him to the likes of Pro, the likes of, you know, all the other guys that
Yes.
were singing or rapping in vernacular and saying that he's not going to amount to anything much. Already the beef was like, just like being perpetuated by guys over things that really didn't make sense, you know? So it's interesting how it just now sort of killed the game as it stands. And Glom was also big at one stage. What happened to Glom, bro?
So again with Gob, the artist, right? The sound within Gob is the same,
Okay.
right? So Gob was a KZN thing. Gob is still powerful. KZN, it's powerful.
Yeah.
Like it still does the things there and stuff. But again, it's that adoption of working with people, right?
Okay.
So if you look at the Gob industry, how many guys from Josie can say we did Gob?
Yeah.
You know, so it was like it's a KZN thing, it's a KZN artist thing.
They
This is
tribalized
ours, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly, they tribalized it, and then what happened was guys in Josie tried to make it, but the bigger guys were not collaborating with them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so right then, I mean, piano was started Pretoria, Soweto, right?
Yeah.
But we were welcoming enough to say, guys throughout the country, come through. You know, if you're a producer, you've got a hit, take it out, release it. You know, we'll embrace it. So whereas with Gob, again, tribalists, you know, it's ours. We're protecting it. You know, it's like they say, there's rumors that Tira runs KZN in terms of entertainment. You know,
Yeah.
but eventually he will have to move
Yeah.
because the masses don't care about his music anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad to say, but it's the truth.
And he monopolized it.
Exactly.
I mean, if I remember, even with Kwaito, being a son from Soweto, Joburg, Gauteng type of setup, it embraced everybody to say, come on, jump on it.
Yes.
And that's why it could sustain for as long as it did. And even if you listen to a little bit of piano, you can hear the Kwaito sound
Correct.
or the Kwaito influence.
Yes.
So yeah, it's quite interesting. So how would you describe your genre of what you play?
So I'm a piano head. I love piano, but I also play everything else, right? So because when I started my career, it was doing birthday parties and not at clubs and stuff. I would have to cater, right?
Yeah.
So, for instance, if an Indian family booked me, I had to play Bollywood. So I had to learn how to play Bollywood.
What?
Right?
Yeah.
If an African family booked me, I had to learn how to play Kwaito.
Yeah.
You know, Maskandi, those
Yeah.
type of things. You know, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas an Afrikaans family booked me, now I'm playing Afrikaans music.
Yeah.
So you'll find me playing anything and everything.
Yeah.
I personally like piano. You
Yeah.
know, I love piano. It's what I prefer to play as a DJ if you book me to play. But I can play everything. I like everything, you know, and I appreciate different sounds of music. It's like I was telling a friend yesterday that I draw my inspiration from Arabic music.
What?
You know, 3 months ago, I started listening to this Coke Studio Arabic thing that happened overseas, and I was like, wow, the way these instruments are being played, it's so interesting, you know.
Yeah.
The way that person's vocal cords, you know, the way they're expressing themselves, you know, is amazing. So that's how but I listen to everything. I can play everything.
Yeah.
You know, I can even play rock and heavy metal, which is crazy, right?
What?
But I learned how to play it.
Yeah.
Because I once had a function, you know, a family booked me and they said, you know, this is a metal family. We love metal, yeah.
Oh.
Now I need to go and Google top 40, what's happening in the metal space. How does the genre work? You know, you put your feelings aside.
Yeah.
And that's now goes back to our earlier conversation of catering for the crowd.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so you must have your identity as a DJ, but you must also be able to cater for everyone depending on what business you're in.
To be flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I mean you live in Lens, grew up in Lens.
Yes.
You play in a township because that's where you get a lot of, you know, opportunity to play
Yes.
piano.
Yes.
In Lens, is it the case as well? Do
So
you have
piano,
clubs in
piano is there, is there in Lens, more so in the more urban communities. But what I've been finding as a trend is that I'm starting to see that up north, Afro is bigger. So Afro music, what Shibza plays,
Okay.
you know, that type of sound is bigger, and more down south, east and west is where your pianos are. You know, and then in terms of location wise, in the more suburban areas, there's piano, but there's also a lot of 80s and 90s. So 90s and 2000s music, you know, your Liberty City, that type of stuff is there. So people still jam to those type of things, whereas in the township, it's piano, but people want that sounds. They want to hear how you mix it. They want to hear how you fuse it. You know, and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I've grown to love the township. You know, I've probably played in an urban club less than 5 times.
What?
Whereas every weekend I'm in the township.
Yeah.
There's no weekend that goes by that I don't go there. You know.
And is it so you already know? Do you get there an hour before your set, or do you get there like? Because I was listening to Black Coffee was saying, he gets to a gig 15 minutes before he plays. He doesn't want to get there and listen to how other people play, so that there's no influence in what he wants to play.
Yeah, so it depends, right? So if you're a resident DJ, then you get there early. But usually, I feel like personally, the rule of thumb for me is I want to get there an hour before, because I want to hear what the DJ has played before me, right? Especially with piano.
Yeah.
You know, I can now prepare a set that has the top 40 of piano.
Yeah.
And then I get there, the DJ's just played it in the same order that I played it, and then what?
Yeah.
You know, so now I look bad. So
Yeah.
I always say it's important to at least be there an hour before, so that you can hear, you know, what was played, what was the crowd's reaction.
Yeah.
You know, have your stuff prepared, but also be able to manipulate, because if someone played the same songs, you don't want to be playing them but an hour later. At least 4 hours later, it's okay, it's understandable.
Yeah. What's your worst experience in like playing? Like, have you ever played where people are just not jamming, or have you ever played? I was interviewing this one artist. He was telling me about his experience in playing. That he's a colored guy from KZN.
Yeah.
Smoke is his name. So Smoke plays the blues.
Okay.
So as a colored dude from and this is culture and maybe racism, and so he's a colored dude from KZN. He goes to Easteras, which is a colored township, but now the moment he starts speaking, they can hear this one is from Durban. And he's speaking English. And he tells a story about a chick he found in Durban. And then the moment he says that, he sees people going blank. They no longer, and he played 2 songs. And then he thought, let me just chat. Because the blues is about. And then the next thing, the crowd just went completely like closed off.
Yes.
So what's the worst thing you've had? Like,
so by God's grace, I have to say I haven't yet had an experience where I played and people were not happy.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was a crowd of 1, 2, 5, 10, or 100,000. You know, someone always came and said, "No, good set."
Yeah.
You know, so by God's grace, I can say that that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I have seen cases where. You see, my thing is I change, right? So if I play one song and I see, okay, the crowd is not happy with this song, I then start switching the genre or whatever it is. So that's why I don't get caught by that. Whereas that's the one danger now. Of if you are saying this is all I play, and you are booked now where you have to play for 5, let's say you booked for a wedding.
Yeah.
Get to that wedding, you're gonna find that young people are going to come and say, hey, play piano, but they are outside drinking.
Yeah.
The old people want to hold each other. They want to dance. They want the 80s. They want the 90s.
Yeah.
So that's now when you have to now think on the, okay, let's
spot.
change.
Yeah.
So that influences you as a club DJ. Because as a club DJ, you get there, you play the first song. What's the people's reaction? Are they happy? Are they good? Are they nice? Are they angry? You know, from there you start progressing. And that's how it goes, man.
My brother, it's been amazing chatting to you, and I mean I'm learning a lot just from hearing, because I've when piano came out, I really didn't understand it, and I classified it like other old school dudes do. Put it in a box somewhere, but then it started slowly. I started opening my ear to it and saying, don't be closed-minded about it. Just hear what these young people are at. Where do you see yourself as a DJ, as a person? Where do you, as a brand, where do you want to take your brand?
So I want to influence people through my brand, right?
Okay.
So and that's why I say, like, I do music because I love it. You know, thankfully I can say that. You know, I'm not doing it to try and make ends meet, because I've got a day job. You know, that's what I do. So I want to influence people. Like the name Kasi Gupta. You know, we can talk about that. So how it came about.
Man,
So how Kasi Gupta came about was when I started playing in the township. It was around about 2017, 2017. And that's when the whole Gupta scandal happened, right? So now I get there to township and everybody's like, Nago Gupta. You know, people are now...
Didn't upset you?
No, I understood, because it was that thing of an Indian person is a Gupta.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because it's like, number one, there's no Indian people here. What does this guy want in the township to play? You know, he's the only one. I often find myself being the only Indian person in various places.
Yeah.
You know, and then people were like, no, Nago Gupta.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Then one guy came to me, he's like, no, you see you are Kasi Gupta.
Yeah.
You're a township Indian. So Gupta actually meant Indian.
Yeah.
You know, whereas other people were like, okay, Gupta, what's happening? You know, is there some affiliation here?
Yeah.
Then they see the guy driving, like, this one can't be a Gupta.
Yeah.
It can't be a real
There's no
Gupta.
way.
You know, so that's where Kasi Gupta came from. You know, it's that thing of people saying, this man is Indian, he's a Gupta.
Yeah.
And then Kasi was, because I'm always in the townships, so there's township Indian.
Yeah.
So in terms of brand, right? So what I want to do, where I see myself, the influence I want to have, I want to spread love through music. You know, I want to teach people that, just like how Kasi Gupta, right? I've fused Indian with township. There's nothing wrong for Indian people to be in the township.
Yeah.
Don't have that perception that I'll get robbed, whatever. You know, there's still that fear from the past. You know, that certain bad things happen in the township. I mean, this is South Africa. Bad things happen everywhere.
Anyway.
Certain township doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to influence people that we can all live the same life. We can all jam to the same types of music. We can all have a good time together in peace and harmony. And whether it's township, whether it's urban, and that it doesn't matter. You know, so that's my end goal is to spread love through music, to tell people, to teach people that I as an Indian went to the township. That's where I started. That's where my brand became a brand, an official brand. And okay, now I have power.
Yeah.
It was because people were like, wow, you coming here, you're giving us good music, we respect you. We'll protect you, we'll take care of you. That type of thing. And that's what I want more Indian people to do. I want more white people to do this, and vice versa. I want people from the township to come out and say, let's go to Sandton. Let's go listen to electronic music. Let's go there. Let's see what this thing is about. So that amongst the different racial groups, it's like I say, race is just the type of hair I have and the color of my skin. Aside from that, if I cut you and I cut my head, we're going to bleed. The blood might be a different type, but it's the same. It's blood.
Yeah.
Right?
It's red. Yeah.
It's red. So at the end of it all, we are one. Let's be one human race. Let's be South African about it. And from there, let's spread love amongst us. Let's help each other. Regardless of, that's one thing I want to break away from, is this racial categorization and the racial expectation of society. If you are a certain race, this is what you must do. If you're from a certain area, this is how you must behave. I want to break away from all of that and say, guys, let's all just love each other. Let's just be happy. Let's be happy. Let's party. Let's drink. Let's eat. Let's make merry. Let's be one human race. Regardless of where you come from, what your circumstances are, help your neighbor.
True.
Black, white, Indian, colored, doesn't matter. Help your neighbor. It starts here. This is how we start towards building a good nation, towards being a better community, a better country. We start by literally helping your neighbor, being able to say, no matter what happens, I'm here for you. Call on me. I may not have the money, I may not have whatever, but if you need a scissor to cut your grass, I have one. Come and take it. Let's start that bonds in communities. That spirit of Ubuntu. We are one. We are together.
True.
That's what I want with my career. I want my music to be able to tell that story, to say that this guy, he's Indian. He's supposed to be playing 80s, 90s electro music. His name is Electro, but here he is in the township playing pianos. What the hell, But that's telling a story. It's, guys, I can do it, so can you.
Absolutely.
Let's build that journey. So that's basically what I want.
That's powerful. You also have, because as you speak, bro, like I'm thinking, it's so key for us as people, especially the people in the arts, to use our platforms.
Yes.
To promote non-racialism, to promote togetherness, to promote, people coming together, working together, and you're like a social activist. You really are a social activist, because you don't have to be working for an NGO or work for a political party to be an activist.
Correct.
You can use what your God-given talents are to be able to impact change on people's lives. I also like that you also do these events to try and raise sanitary towels for young girls and stuff. What inspired you to do that?
So this is my third year. So 2 years back, a young girl messaged me on my DJ page, and she said, I'm sorry to bother you, but I have this situation and I'd really like your help. And I said, okay, what's up? How can I help? And she said, would you be able to send me 10 rand to buy sanitary pads?
Yes.
And I was touched. I was really touched. It was like, someone reached out to me. I don't know this person, but they genuinely need help, and that's what inspired the whole thing of sanitary pads. It's, let's help young people, let's help young women. There are people out there who really need this stuff. They need it. It's a necessity. It's not a, your menstruation cycle and that type of thing. That's not a choice. It's something you have to go through. So us as individuals, let's help. Let's help those people. Let's help those girls, so that they don't have to not go to school. Because these things, it has impact, like massive impacts. Like one girl told me, there was a time that I didn't go to school for 2 weeks because I was bleeding, and what do you expect me to do? I don't have money to buy this, so all I can do is sit at home, go to the shower, and it's sad. It's sad to think that simple things like this is what's hitting our communities the hardest. It's killing our youth. You know, it's killing the young women out there. You know, you want to see women succeed and flourish, and they want to. They are driven. They want to be out there. They want to learn things and stuff. But when something as small as this comes, it literally throws them off. They have to miss school for a week, go back, catch up, then perform badly. You know, and the greater impact. So that's what inspired this, was being contacted by someone and said, you know, listen, I need a pack, you know, 10 rand, please. And ever since then, I said for July, for my birthday, I don't want any gifts, so don't buy me gifts. Nobody must buy me gifts. Give me 10 rand, you know, as a contribution, and let's raise packs. You know, let's see how far we can get. So far, when I started it in COVID, I raised 800 packs. Last year, I did 1,800. This year, unfortunately, I've just been crazy busy. I haven't been able to do my events with this tavern shootings and stuff. You know, it's impacting that. So I've only raised 1,000 for this year. But at least I get to help, you know, 50 girls and say, guys, here's a year's supply. You know, don't worry about this thing for the whole year. You are sorted. You know, and that type of thing. So that's what that's about.
So you literally go and get the pairs?
Yes, I do everything. I'm not ashamed.
So
you know?
how do you? Because there are different sizes, bro. So like,
so there's a universal. So this thing is actually complicated. Right? Right. So the first question is, how do you know how many pads a girls need? Right?
Yeah.
A girl needs. So how would you say you're giving someone a supply for 3 months?
Yeah.
You know, so I literally spoke to female friends, and you know, I called up a friend, and she's like, what do you want? And I'm like, I need your help. And she's like, what happened? And I'm like, I need to ask you about your menstruation cycle.
Yeah.
She's like, what dude, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then I explained to her, this is the reason why I'm asking it, because I want to understand, you know, what are the impacts. So like, with sanitary pads, you get scented, you get unscented.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
The key is to always buy unscented, because scented can cause irritation for some people, it can cause an infection.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
So it's that. And then there's also some sort of universal size, you know,
Yeah.
that fits all, that basically has weakness.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yes,
I
yeah.
actually went out as a guy and had to go learn this thing. You know, it's like when I go to these wholesalers, and then they find me there, and then I buy like 1,000 packs, and they're like, what, do you have a shop or something? I'm like, no, guys, I'm going to give this thing away. But they're like, so how do you know, like, you want so much of this one, you want so much of that one? And I'm like, well, you know, I had to ask female friends, like, guys, I'm sorry for being weird about this thing, but
Yeah.
there's no other way. I don't
It's a
have a
strange
sister,
thing to be asking
unfortunately,
ladies.
you know, that stays with me, that I can say, you know, hey, how does this thing work?
Yeah.
So, but that's how I learned it. And now I know it pretty well. You know, I can tell you how many packs a girl may need for a month, but this cycle,
What?
depending on the flow,
No
and how
way.
those flows big, so I can all of that, right? So, as a guy, you know, sometimes people are like, this thing is gruesome and stuff, but you know, you need to man up and say, let's do it. You know?
Yeah.
You know, let's learn these things, and let's help the young ladies out there. You know.
That's incredible, bro. And then how do you choose who you're gonna give them to?
So basically, there's a home that I work with in Lenasia. So there's Aryan Benevolent Home. So what I do is I have a database. I basically send out a message and say, guys, I have these pads. I contact different children's homes, and I say, right, give me the number of girls that you have, you know, and I start there. And then in terms of schools, I don't really do schools, because you know, schools, you may find somebody coming and taking it, going home and selling it, and that type of thing. What I do have is I've got also senior people in communities, elderly ladies that will basically identify individuals. So I don't take pictures with people. That's the first thing. I personally don't believe in that. I don't believe that I need to show people that you are the one who are struggling. All people need to see when you contribute is there's a receipt. You know, this guy bought the pens, he gave it somewhere.
Yeah.
If you want to verify them, I'll give you contact details. That's fine. But I don't believe in exposing. I mean, I don't think it's a nice thing.
No,
you know?
it's not. Yeah.
So I do take pictures in terms of I've handed over to you. Here's the box. But in terms of each individual that's going to get it, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I work with the senior people who will basically identify, okay, in this township, maybe there's 30 girls that we know of in these homes that are really struggling and need this. Then I'll give them the pens, they'll distribute it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Bro.
So that's how I go about it, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, man. That's fantastic. Big ups to that, bro.
Thank you, man.
I think God will guide you in what you do, bro.
Yes.
And you will definitely grow, because it comes from a good space, and
Yes.
you you're doing it because you want to effect change, not
Correct.
necessarily to just be popular, to just be famous, or to just make money
Yes.
out of it. So your reasoning is far deeper. And sometimes when you want to do good, it's harder to do good than to want the fame and the money.
Look, it is. I mean, people out there are like, how do we know you're not going to run with my money? So I literally tell people, I'm like, guys, when you give me money, the day that I'm going to buy it, I send everyone a message. Like, whoever wants to tag along, come through. I've got nothing to hide. You can see with your own eyes, this is where my money went. When I'm going to do the handovers, come through. I'm not going to be that discreet, contribute and I'll let you know, give you a report. No, come. Come through. This is my address. You can come through
And do
find
people
me.
come?
Yeah,
Some people.
Some people have come. Yes, there's obviously some skeptical people over the years that have been like, no, this guy might run away with our money. We can't just do this. And then after that, after they came the first time, for the next 2 years, they just quite happily contributed, because it's like, guys, I'm not selling this stuff. I don't aim to make money off it. It's literally, I want to help people. It's the one thing good thing that I can do in my life that's within reach. Let me do it. Let me use my music events. Let me host an event, call all my friends and say, right, guys, we're going to charge 10 rand at the gate. Those 10 rand, so entrance fees, either 10 rand or a pack of pads. And that goes towards the ladies that need it out there.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's talk about the tavern shootings as a last thing to discuss.
Yes.
I saw you cancelled your events that
Yes.
were planned. I think it was 2-3 weeks ago or so.
So it's supposed to be next week Sunday.
Okay.
Right. So I had to cancel it. Unfortunately, in Majaza and Walkerville, there's been some gruesome shootings. There was a car that just drove by and started firing at people.
Jesus.
So for me, the safety of my patrons come first.
Yeah.
Whether I lose money or not, I'm not in the business of putting people's lives at risk.
Yeah.
When I do events, I use armed security, but it's like they say, if you can avoid it, start there. That's what matters. You need to take people's lives serious. So it's bad. The country is going through a very challenging time.
Yeah.
There's a criminal element to this thing. Some say taxi war, some say gangster war, whatever it is. I don't know the details, but it's challenging. It's impacting businesses. It's impacting lives. It may sound weird, but you can literally have someone commit suicide because of this, simply because a depressed person may want to go to a tavern to relieve his depression, and now he can't. He can kill himself at home, just because of this stupid thing, So it's a very big problem in our communities. How to fix it is something I don't know, because the reality is, the law is the law. You can't take up arms and say, right, we're going to guard this community with our firearms. You come here, we'll shoot you. Because you shoot at someone, gun laws will nail you. You'll go to jail.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like someone comes in your yard. You can't just shoot them.
No, you can't.
So, it's a very challenging problem. The only way I see forward is probably for policing and communities to come together, where you go maybe do some sort of course, as a CPF member, whatever it is. So you do a course, you get skilled as if you were a police officer, so that should you see these things, you have the right to shoot at a person or arrest a person. According to South African law, there is a civil arrest function, but it's not, it can be manipulated very easily. You can't just arrest someone because you feel like it. And you see, the bad thing is, the law is good, but it's bad. It's bad in the sense that the innocent people are not really being protected by the law. So innocent people being the old lady who stays next door.
True.
Because when someone breaks into her house, if she shoots that guy, she's old. She's going to shoot him wherever she shoots him. Now she has to go to court, explain how many meters was he away from her and that type of thing. It's a
Was there one warning shot?
It's a fundamental thing. He was in my house. It ends there. Let's not even go further. He was in my house. What was he doing in my house? Illegally. It's a simple question to ask a criminal. Were you in that person's house? Yes or no? Do you know that person? No. End of conversation. But because the law is the law, you have to go through a long process and stuff. So the tavern shootings, it's gonna get worse. I see it getting
It's
worse.
gonna get worse.
I see it getting worse. I
What?
see it getting worse.
Is it an easy prey for whoever's doing whatever?
So, you see, number one, I blame venue owners. So I start by venue owners.
Okay.
You don't want to spend money on security. How many clubs can, you've been to a lot of places in your life. How many places can you say you've gone to where you've been thoroughly searched and the guys are armed? They're ready for reaction. It's rare. Right? So it starts there. Invest money in security. As a venue owner, and in terms of liquor regulations, make it a primary requirement. For as long as we don't have that, you have someone that's running a tavern that's just chilling there. They have a boy playing music and people are drinking. Robbery, theft, shooting, bound to happen eventually. It's going to happen. You can't prevent it because what measures can you say as an owner you've put in place? Higher security. These things are not expensive. There are companies out there that will supply you with good security. I mean, I've got a company that supplies me with 6 armed guards for 3.5K, for a 12-hour event.
What?
Which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? Because they trained, they know how to handle these situations, they know what to do, they know what to tell people to do. Should there be a shooting, should there be something, they know how to disarm people. So it's basic things like that make an impact. So it's businesses out there, what are taverns doing about these shootings? They're sitting there and saying, oh no, people are shooting, people are not coming. Whereas if you tell me I've got armed security, I've got proper response, I'll happily come to your place because I'll feel safe. I know that when I get in there, I'm going to have a good time. The only worry is when I leave outside, I might get hijacked, robbed, whatever. Those things happen. But the act of someone coming into a tavern and shooting people.
How did they get in the first place?
It's the fundamental fact of it. What happened? How did it transpire? That type of thing. So that's why I say it's going to get worse. Before it gets better. It's going to get to a point where I personally see this thing going where the country is going to say, okay, we're revoking all licenses, you must reapply. According to new regulations that everybody agrees on. Because people are dying. It's a big thing. It's like, I personally feel like as a country we're going to war. Very soon, we're going to war. It's scary. There's issues out there
that are deep.
That are impacting people. That are hitting homes hard. And again, your neighbor is not going to protect you because of the divide that we have as communities.
So true.
So it's sad. It's really a sad situation to be in because it's like in my street we had a meeting last week. And we've been having meetings and they're like, okay, we need to start patrols. And then you get there and it's a 74-year-old man with a walking stick saying, okay, I'll patrol with you guys. And I'm like, but where are the youngsters? Where are my friends that I grew up with? Where are all of you? You guys don't want to come out. So it's like now it's actually safer to say, okay, if you're on a patrol, wake up, go sit, walk around your yard, chill outside, have coffee, read a book with your dogs. You're safer that way.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to endanger, and you see now it's that thing, why should I endanger myself for my neighbor? Because my neighbor doesn't want to.
It doesn't want to get up.
So
I saw it in our community as well. It's that some people don't wanna pay. So what we found was we tried to get people to patrol, and others were just not interested in patrolling. Yeah. Then you're like, okay, then contribute to patrolling. Then they didn't want to. Then we said, okay, let's have a street guard. We then got a street guard. Then we're like, okay, let's contribute 200 Rand, 300 Rand. Some people don't want to. Then you're like, okay, but you are paying a ADT and a whatever white company that takes the money out of your community.
Yes.
But you don't want to do anything. So it's like, on one end, we complain about crime in our own communities, but in reality is that people actually don't want to do anything about it.
I think that boils down to every element of as a country where we're at, politically, service delivery wise, hospitals, public hospitals. I mean, I personally, I don't have medical aid. I go to Para. It's rough. But the key is, on the wall, it says, this is how you complain. Complain. Speak out. people sit at home, they complain, crime is bad. But when you say, guys, let's take a stance against crime, you don't want to. You know, simple things like that. You know, this whole thing of foreigners are coming, they're taking our jobs. Fine. When the local man opens a spaza shop, you don't support him.
Yeah.
But then you complain. You sit at home and say, no, there's too many foreigners in our area. So who are you fooling? You know, it starts with you as an individual. In anything you do in life, it starts with you, regardless of which sector we talk about, whether music, crime, politically, everything. It starts with you as an individual saying, I need to do something about this. I need to stop sitting at home and saying this thing is bad, tweeting on social media, oh no, this happened, 10 people were shot. Cool, 10 people were shot in your neighborhood. What are you guys doing about it? You know, where's the young people from your neighborhood? You know, why aren't people holding them? I mean, our elders, you know, yourself, eventually you guys are going to get old. You know, you can't forever walk the streets and protect the community.
Yeah, no, we can't.
Someone has to take over. You know, and if the young people are willing to stand up, then who do they blame when they buy a Golf, park it outside, it gets hijacked? You know, simple things like that. You know, you want nice things. You buy a city Golf, you park it outside, it gets hijacked. Then you say crime is bad in our community. But when your elder tells you, let's go patrol, you don't want to go patrol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a double-edged sword for
yeah.
people. It's a really...
It's a sad thing.
And the underage drinking, just the last issue
Yes.
I forgot to ask you, especially looking at the taverns and the no security, no control, young people coming in as young as 13. We saw the young people that died in...
And you're many.
And it's not just that place only. It's like
Yes.
most taverns in the townships, in informal settlements, there's like no control over 15, 14, 13-year-olds coming in to drink. What are your thoughts on that?
So again, it boils down to we're going to go into war. We're going to go into war because communities are going to start burning down their own taverns. We're going to go back to black on black violence, all of that stuff. Why? Because it's simple. The regulation says no under 18s, right? As a tavern owner, it's your duty to enforce the regulations, to abide by it. But if you don't have someone then that actually checks, you know, if you tell people bring your IDs, you know, you look at bigger clubs, there was Manhattan's in Centon, I think now it's Madison Avenue. They won't let you in there just without your ID. You're not going to enter. Those guys are spending money. Have you ever heard of a shooting there? You'll never hear of those things happening, right? Whereas come to the township, you know, simple things like hiring security, checking IDs, telling guys you can't just enter here, you know, without showing us that you're of the right age. Those things won't kill anybody. You know, create a locker facility. If people say, no, but what if I lose my ID? Say, okay, I can see your picture, right? You know your ID number. Create a locker facility, store it for them. Let them come have a good time and leave afterwards. You know, those things don't cost money. Those things are simple fixes for a greater problem. But instead, what are we after? We're chasing the wealth. We're greedy. And the worst part is you're greedy for your own money to a point that you won't even spend it to protect yourself.
And you enjoy it.
Exactly. Whereas, you know, you're so greedy that you know your neighbor's 13-year-old daughter is there, you know, at a tavern. You know that there are people, vultures out there that are preying on her when she walks home. They're going to attack her. You know this. You're seeing it with your own eyes. But because she's paying 100 Rand, 200 Rand for a six-pack, you're making money. You don't care. You know, so it's back to that social impact of, as an individual, it starts with you. You know, you cannot say community, you guys came and burned down my tavern. Whereas when you saw your neighbor's daughter drinking there, you also didn't do anything. Now she's an alcoholic. She got raped last week somewhere. You know, these are real problems. It's sad to talk about them, but it's real things.
And they're happening on a daily basis.
You know, it's happening
just
daily.
not reported.
Exactly. So you as a community person, you expect the community to protect you. But you're not protecting them because you're taking their wealth, you're taking their money, you're creating addiction, right? You're creating a unsafe environment. And when they come back for you, but eventually people will wake up, right? The nation will rise. You know, we'll rise against certain things. And when it rises, it's going to be bad. And it's unfortunately, it's going to be bad to a point where, you know, chances of us heading to a Zim economy, you know, economically, is very high. We may head there because it's simple things like this that will break us. It makes or breaks us. So you'd rather, as a community, stand up now. Absolutely. These taverns that don't want to comply, close them down. Call on government and say, let's revisit this regulation thing. Let's start a process. Don't wait for an incident. Be proactive instead of reactive. Because that's how we function as a country. It's like we wait for someone to get shot, then you're like, oh, this thing needs to be done.
It's so true, bro. It's so true.
Yeah.
And you're quite right, because as you say, and I think the message you're saying is that we seriously need to come together. It must not be a cliche anymore. It mustn't be rhetoric. It mustn't be like we must, because you have just dropped bombs about what is possible, that a war is about to erupt, a civic or civil war is about to come. Thabo Mbeki spoke about an Arab Spring of our own that's about to erupt. Somebody else also, like, that I interviewed, said there's just something boiling. And I don't know how much more warnings we must hear.
Exactly. I mean, the red flags are there, guys. These things are there. It's out there. It's telling us, guys, stand up. And communities take charge of your neighborhood. Economically, businesses take charge of your economy. Start. But the problem is, as a nation, our biggest problem is we say, no, we'll wait for my friend to do it. No, the president will do it. There'll be something that comes. It's never going to happen. Unfortunately, we've gotten to a point where you cannot trust the word that is said in the media. It starts with you. If you're not doing it, don't believe it's being done. It's literally as simple as that. That's the way I look at it.
Brother, I mean, it just breaks my heart, because we love this country and we want the best for it, and we want the best for our youth and for the future of this country to not regress into what a Zimbabwe had become, and other countries in our SADC regions that are just are not going anywhere, like Lesotho, Swaziland. I mean, we've got so much opportunity as a country, and you're quite right. It's up to us to really work together. So if anything goes bad and goes south for us, it's our own doing.
Correct. We are becoming our own worst enemy. And when you become your own worst enemy, you can't combat your own enemy.
No, you can't. You're not going to take up arms against yourself.
Correct.
Say, I'm going to go shoot that guy. No, that guy is huge.
Exactly.
Yo, my brother, I really appreciate your time and for really coming out, and I really appreciate learning so much from you. I've taken a lot of lessons from you, and I hope our viewers, our listeners, will be able to take something from this conversation, because it's genuine, it's real, it's authentic, and you are honest, and you are clear about who you are and what you want to do in this country, and you want to see a country that is developing, that is non-racial, and that's key, bro, because I think people like you and me, we are seen as dreamers sometimes. They're like, this side is dreamy. Yo, what is this thing that they want to do? Because when you talk about how you see yourself, I'm thinking, I'm sure you must get a lot of people who think, dog, you must be crazy thinking about that.
They do. There are people. I mean, there's people that hate me for that, right?
Especially your Indian community.
Correct. They hate me. I mean, I dated a Sotho girl. Right?
Yeah.
So that was already right there, breaking.
What? Like he's going upstream.
My mom is a Hindu priest. But her son dated a Sotho Christian girl. You see? So it's things like that. The hate is real. People came after me. What's wrong with you? Are you mad? Whatever. There's so many beautiful Indian girls. I'm like, but what's wrong with this person? I mean, come, guys, let's be real about these things, right? I mean, look past the race. Look past the race. What are you? I mean, you're saying that I'm not going to get children at one place or the other. Simple things, man. I'm not going to get married here. Like, you talk about stupid stuff. People, that's what's killing us as a nation. That's why I say the war is coming. We are going to kill ourselves because we want to say and dictate that if you are a black man, you must get married to a black woman, or you must live in a certain place. You must abide by. If you are an Indian man, you must only marry Indian. You must keep the world within. You mustn't go out here. It's things like that that is killing us. Who said those things? Where is it? If you can show me that it's written somewhere, maybe I'll believe you. But I've received the hate, man. I've been around.
Because I've been following you. I remember when you I think I must have seen you with I don't know if it was you or there was another Indian guy that I'm also friends with on social media posting his girlfriend. And but with you, I was like, okay, this guy loves playing in the township. I wonder how his community must be checking him out. So I want to hear his story, man. Dog, like you just keep raising the flag and being true to yourself, bro. Because I think I somehow always think about my situation as well. That I married a colored woman, so you can understand the amount of hate that I also had to face.
Yes, exactly, right? and you ask yourself why.
Yeah.
You're a happy man now. She takes care of you. You've got beautiful kids.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
And with me, bro, like when I go home to the homelands, dog, like the amount of hate I've picked up, dog, like they call them white people, they call us Lanis, they call us they called her Busman, they've called me like thinking that I'm not black.
Yeah, thinking that you yeah.
Then they say all sorts of nasty things, or that I'm not black South African. So they'll say things and then I'd be like answering them in a language, whether Zulu or Tswana or whatever. And then they would look and I'd be like, how can we be like this as a people, man?
Exactly, right? So I learned some Zulu, some Sotho and stuff. So usually I listen to people gossip about me. I don't tell them that I understand what you're saying. Right?
Yeah.
So just what you do. So now you listen and you get sad. It's like it's a saddening feeling.
Yeah.
And you obviously won't get angry because you're used to it. But it's sad to think that, especially like in your case, your own family,
my own family,
your own people,
yeah,
that are judging you for something as stupid as the race of your wife. I mean,
even my kids, dog, because they look colored. So they'll say the most horrible things, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, what kind of a human being are you?
Exactly.
To judge people on the basis of their skin color?
Exactly.
And then I realized when I heard this one lady said, if somebody judges somebody by the skin color and hair, that person has a mental problem.
Agreed.
And then I realized that no, man, there's no need for me to invest my emotions in being upset.
Yeah.
With somebody who's fucked in the head.
Agreed.
Like, there's nothing you're gonna say or do to get your emotions up over somebody who's messed up in their heads. So the easiest thing is act like you don't hear. Don't entertain it. Look away, walk away, get out of their space. Don't be around them.
Correct.
Don't talk to them. Walk away. So that's how I've been managing to deal with hate for the last 20 years. 20 years, dog.
Jeez, and I'm just getting started.
20 years. And
It's going to be a long journey. It's going to be
There's going to be kids involved.
Hey, that is going to be... Yeah, I mean, if I marry a beautiful African lady or an Indian lady, regardless of... I think if I go for the African lady, hey, man, it's going to be rough. Just the thought of it is like, ish, yeah, nah.
Yeah,
No, but again... What is race? What are these things? These things are not real. It's stupid stuff.
Yeah. You realize that, no, man, this person is not okay upstairs.
Yes.
Because to think that we've got such big problems and they are thinking that my skin color is a problem or my wife's skin color is a problem or my kids.
It's nonsense.
Then this person cannot be okay upstairs.
Yeah.
So there's no need for me to waste my energy on them. So I think with you, bro, develop that sort of thinking in your way that don't waste your time and energy on people like that.
Correct.
You're never going to change them. And,
you're not worth the energy, I mean, I'm not going to spend myself arguing and justifying why I choose. It's like I say, as individuals in life, you must learn morals and values. It's the same thing like as I mentioned, my mom is a Hindu priest, right?
Yeah.
And her teaching to me is simple. I've taught you the religion. I've taught you what's good. I've taught you what's bad. Take that and enforce it into your own life. Live your own life. Create your own identity with it. There's no rule book that says you must do every single thing.
Yeah.
Same thing with race, religion, whatever it is. You learn fundamental morals, values. From there, move on. Take it, do with it for your life, learn action, consequence, whatever it is. But don't let someone else there stop you from doing what you want to do by saying stupid things like, okay, she's black, she's white, she's colored, she's Indian. Simple things. Don't do that. Don't waste your time,
Absolutely. My brother, you've been an amazing guest, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
For another 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah, man.
You have a wealth of information, and I think, as you say, that you used to do this debates, this talks. I can hear that there's a lot of content you can share, and I mean, I think it would necessitate that we have a part 2 of some sort, because there's other things that I'm picking up from you that I think we can definitely
talk about. Okay.
And religion is one of them, because I always find it interesting when I connect with people. I'm like, okay, there's a spiritual connection. There's something deep we can discuss, but we'll park it for another day. There's more on business we can talk about, But I think for now, what's great that we could just bring out who you are as a guy.
Yes.
And I wish you all the best, man.
Thank you.
And thanks for sharing and opening up your story, because not many people are comfortable to talk and to share. And when we share, we actually teach. So thank you for teaching, bro. You've been a lecturer for the day, for the past hour.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just message to people. Where can they find you? Where can they catch you? And
right. So on social media, Facebook, it's DJ Electro D SA. TikTok, DJ Electro D, Instagram, DJ Electro D, and Twitter, DJ Electro D SA.
Yeah.
So, or if you search for Kasi Gupta, you'll find me. On any of the platforms, you're bound to find me.
You're the only one.
Yeah, I'm the only one.
Yeah.
There's no one. But yeah.
Nice one, brother.
Right.
I appreciate it, man. All right. So follow him on social media, and thank you very much for watching. What I've been seeing, you guys are loving the content, and so many of you have been inboxing to say, we love the Free Ride podcast and we love the content you bring. So thank you so much. And TikTok, you guys have been even blowing it up even more crazier than other platforms. But big ups and thanks to all of you for sharing on Facebook. I see the page is growing. It's growing on YouTube. I thank each and every one of you for taking time and spending your money to watch these podcasts. So big ups. Boom. We out.